How's it going, everybody? We're going for a second round of undocumented changes because we already know that we're going to get another patch this Thursday, probably the last one of this year, so let's get everything out of the way before that. But first I want to address some things that keep popping up in this specific video series. My intention for making a list of undocumented changes, and then the fact that I'm able to even release a list of that stuff every time. What bothers me a little is that people accuse me of making Ubi look bad with them, that this is the very intention behind them, and this couldn't be further from the truth. All my videos have always aimed at informing the community. I don't really make entertaining content per se. Yeah, I try to make it not totally boring, but overall you can't really turn your brain off when watching my stuff. I try to educate and inform the player base, and it's no different when it comes to the Undocumented Changes series. If you noticed, I do not publish any game-breaking, completely abusable bugs. It's mostly things that need a little bit of explaining, but once people know what the fuck is going on, it helps them deal with it. Yeah, this is some form of a very public bug report, but please don't accuse me of having ulterior motives of sabotaging the game somehow. The other thing I keep hearing is that For Honor is such a special case, such shitty developers that I can make a video every single time they release a patch. Guys, just because people don't do this for other games doesn't mean that it couldn't be done. There are tons of examples for completely messed up patches. Mind you, most of what I cover here are tiny changes to very specific things. It's not like every single patch only delivers half of what the patch notes say, or even the complete opposite. Let me give you a few examples from other developers and games. Battlefield 1, for example, had a huge issue with their static AA guns. It was almost comical to watch EA and DICE try to put that thing in a good position balance-wise. They had a patch that said they'd lower the damage of those guns, and once the patch hit, they actually increased the damage. Imagine being in that Q&A team. Or simple design choices back in the day in PlanetSide 2 when the Lancer was introduced. A huge fucking laser, the developers thought the very first shot needed some random deviation. I'm not even going to mention games like the Souls series, where the devs are unable to remove duping from a game they released 8 times on like 5 different platforms. So take a step back and really think hard whether this is a For Honor or a game industry issue in general. Yeah, Ubisoft has a bit of an issue with the version control, I don't think anyone can deny that, but patch notes not being complete or sometimes a little inaccurate, I don't think that's unique to our game. Okay, rant over. Let's get to the additional stuff that was found since the last video. First, there was another small change to bleed and its interaction with Shaman's bite. The moment when the bleed is cleansed on an interrupted bite seems to have shifted slightly backwards, meaning you might still be bleeding depending on the time that the pounds get stopped. I never measured the exact timing before, so might be slightly mistaken here. But what changed for sure is that bouncing off a counter guard break with your bite no longer removes the bleed. To set up a Shaman bite you either need hit, block or parry stun, while in a successful guard break works as well, but you will most likely bounce off a counter guard break. The other reason why I'm sure something changed are instances like this here. This was not possible for a long time now. The bleed should have gotten removed at this stage into the bite. It didn't do any additional damage, so this might have just been a visual thing on my end, but this is how it looked like back when Shaman was first released, well, minus the extra damage. We couldn't recreate this, so if anyone had this happen as well and has a clip, or maybe even knows how to have this happen consistently, then feel free to send the clip or explanation my way. Discord is obviously the easiest way. Moving on, there was a change to Reflex Guard, but only visually. If you look closely, the fading of the guard now has this little extra flashing light effect at the end. I don't know how many of you ever tried measuring guard duration on Reflex Guard heroes, but to the maybe 2 people that have, the guard is very accurate now. It actually shows white for the full second now, no longer any 966 or the nonsense. So the visual indicator of your guard being up should now be absolutely correct. Gameplay wise, this makes probably no difference whatsoever as we don't really look at the decaying guard while fighting. But yeah, good change. I'm always in favor of a clear UI. Speaking of which, There has been a change to the arrows at the border of your screen that indicate the position of your teammates and opponents alike. This now sometimes shows the attacker or defender emblem depending on the angle between your camera and that person. This can lead to the emblems overlapping with your minimap, which I personally find quite confusing sometimes. At least the first time it happened, I thought that there were changes to the minimap until I realized it was just the positional arrows that got a small change. Another UI change, well, more of a side effect of revive symbol now only popping up once a person can be revived. From what I've gathered, the change seems to be overall positive, but the revive prompt can still obscure parts of the combat UI. But I digress, the change that came is that the revive location and where the revive prompt pops up can be different now. I'm sorry for not having a better clip, but it should still show this nicely here. The corpse location is client side, so the blue or orange beacon that is on the corpse can be on a different location than the revive symbol. This leads to some confusion as you can only actually revive where the beacon is, not the revive symbol. The furthest I've seen these two apart is like 15 meters or something, and it's not all that rare either. I'm sure I've had like 10 instances of this happening since the patch, and even while recreating, it took us like 6 tries or so to get this. Kills that move the corpse and have a chance to make the body flap about are probably the cause of this. Next change is to an execution. Hitokiri's Kamaitachi always had this flashbang effect that could be seen throughout the whole map. The flash is now only visible to the person being executed. Neither the Hito executing nor any bystanders are affected by this anymore. That's a great change. And then we have a change to traps that will be fixed this week. I mentioned this in a previous video already, but the timing to pop Revenge while caught in Nusha's trap seemed to be 1 or 2 frames maybe, so I didn't pay too close attention when people told me that this is possible now. But I guess I should have checked again, because it really is quite easy now. Timing is different between heavies and zone, but we'll of course double check again on Thursday to see whether it's back to the finicky timing or if it's no longer possible at all. It'll also be interesting to see if bots are somehow still able to do it, because they've been popping Revenge on traps ever since Nusha's release. Then there is something that Yubi forgot to change, not an undocumented change, so the spawn location on Brawl maps gets changed to more reflect the actual 2v2 nature of that game mode. The map shown while loading still displays the old spawn locations for short. Not really that big of an issue, I don't think people really notice these anyways. But yeah, that's it for this round. Let's see what they have in store for us next. Next video will be something new that I haven't done before, so looking forward to getting feedback on that. Until then, I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.